Okay, today we're going to look at creating other sorts of animations in Flash where you're starting with one shape, and say in this case let's start with a circle. Alright, but we want the circle to become a square. So here, let's say because it's 24 frames per second, I'm going to go out to 48 and insert a keyframe so that I start and end with a circle, and now at frame 24 I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. So a blank keyframe, I want it to look something completely different. So now I'm going to get a square, I'm going to put a square in, and this time I don't like blue. So I'm going to double click the blue, the border, and make it red. So and it would have helped if I'd put the square in the same spot. So this is a good time to show you onion skinning. So I'm going to get the onion skinning, and I'm going to make sure I choose my square and look at the onion skinning so it's yes in the right spot. Turn onion skinning off, and now if I try to create a motion tween, it's just doesn't want to do it. So here I'm going to create a shape tween. Right here, create a shape tween, and so I've got, it goes from a circle to a square and back to a circle, and you'll see when we test the movie that it's only a square for the briefest amount of time. So this is where we want to use something that is called easing. So we want it to ease in. Is it ease in? Yes, and it stays so it goes from a circle to a square and quickly back by just changing the easing. So square, back to a circle, square, back to a circle. That was interesting. So let's just call that layer two shapes. Next thing I want to do, I'm going to create a new shape, and I'm going to call this layer letters. And this time, so that I don't have the problem I had with my circles, I want to view my rulers, and I'm going to put some guides in so I know where I've put something. So here I am going to put in choose my font tool. I'm going to want it to be big, so 63 will do, and I'm going to press the font there, and I'm just going to put a W for WCCS and move the W down so that it's at those two lines. So what I want to do at the end here, I want to insert a keyframe. So this time it copies the frame that's in between, so I've got the W there again, and here I want to again insert a blank keyframe here, and this time I use my font tool again. I'm going to put an S in, and let's make, hang on, press escape, change the S to be blue, use the arrow tool and push the S into that same corner. So we want that to be a seamless change. Right? If I go right click here, and it won't even let me create a shape tween. That's because these aren't shapes. At the moment I can still edit that, and I can double click in here and change the letter to be something else. So I can make it a T. Right? And if I do that, I need to change the last one to be a T as well. Whoops, don't do that. So what I need to do now is I need to choose the black selection arrow, and what I want to do is I want to break it apart. You notice now that it becomes that white selected dot business, and I want to do that at the start and in each of the keyframes. Break apart, and now I can create a shape tween, and S becomes T. With that same idea, I can move my guides over here now, and I can create something else because I'm running out of original ideas, and now I'm just going to get a square, and again I need to insert a keyframe so that it copies that square from the original frame. Here I want to insert a blank keyframe, so I've got a blank square on this layer, and now I'm going to get my font again, and I'm going to do a capital A this time and use my selection tool and move the A down to the same spot roughly that the square was in, and of course I need to break it apart, turning it from a font into just a bitmap that looks like a font, and I can create a shape tween in between, and so now I have 3 shape tweens, one letter morphing into another letter, one letter morphing into a square morphing into into a circle, and of course any one of these you could make as a symbol of its own, put it onto a movie, so you could have a square turning into a ball flying through the air, or a flapping bird.